Good evening, people. How are we all doing? This is your debrief. Evening, Steve. Evening, Barry. Anthony Wing. How you doing, mate? Evening, Tom. I hope we are all doing well. And we're going to debrief that game from the weekend because let's just call it what it was from the outset. Dire and poor. And we got away with one. I generally don't know how we got away with one, because they were so much better than us. And remarkably, we're ninth. We're ninth in the table after that game as well. Which I don't... It feels like it very much we are set up to be a mid-table team with the way we're playing this year, with the way we are set up. Like, a lot of mid-table teams tend to be very inconsistent. Ian and Danny, how you doing, mate? Ian, I'm not too bad. I'm tired. I'm very, very tired. Had the boy all day, and I won't lie, I felt a bit flat with the channel the last couple of days. You make one mistake and it's not completely the right phrase or the right you make a mistake. Say you get a team in the wrong league, wrong like tonight. You get ripped a new one, and it's just like, I'd like to see people do this. Yeah, I don't think we've got the players to get out of second gear at times. That's my thing. We seem to only get out of second gear when we're chasing a game, Steve. And that's one of my biggest gripes at the minute. This team only seems to step up when they're needing to chase a game, and not the other way around. And that's the thing that gets me at the minute. That's the thing that gets me, that they turn up when they're chasing, but they don't set the tempo. I want to see us set the tempo. I want to see us be the ones setting the initial groundwork. Like when we first came of season, Plymouth, we set the tempo. We set how it was going to be. We were the ones that said it, but we don't do. I'm having a great day. Took off work to play my granddad at snooker and turned into Jude Trump. I'm not that good, but everything went in. Nice one, Ashley. That's awesome. Ian and Barry, how you doing, mate? Yeah, my mental health's a bit... I'll say it's about 4, 5. It should be a lot better, but the little things on the channel like getting to me a little bit. And it gets earlier and earlier, and I really don't want to have that thing where I'm rethinking things and stuff like that. And yeah, just remember, I'm a one-man band who does this, and I'm going to make mistakes. And accept that I'm only human like the players are, but it's difficult at times. The game was absolutely shocking. How we got something like that game, I have no idea. Michael Smith saving us again. 8 today, week off. Oh, brilliant, Tom. What are you going to do with your week off? Eating Bob 123, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I'm just feeling a little bit flat tonight. I think that's a mixture. Just a long day with the little and of well. I think when I've had a long day with Hunter, it's draining. It's very, very draining. We are slowly moving that needle up. We are. I'm not saying there aren't games that we haven't played well, but that game at the weekend, if we're going on the game purpose on that game in general, I'm not going to try and use big words, sod that. My brain's not there. If we're going on that game in general, we got away with one. Like, I actually like the honesty in Danny saying, hey, we were absolutely useless and we didn't deserve anything. We didn't deserve to win, and I like that. Monday can be ropey. Everyone in my depot is saying, yeah, it feels a bit like that, doesn't it? I suffers depression for 20 years. I rarely get above 8. Yeah, I think it's that difficult one. I think it's a bit sad as well. Jagged Alliance 3, right game. Nice. Chill pill. The thing is, I'm already on them, mate. I am actually already on some of the stuff at the minute, and I think it's just getting used to it, and I'm on new medication, so that could be what causing it as well. But it's that thing. I think the thing is, I take a lot of pride in the channel, and I'm a bugger for taking things not very well on the chin at times. And it's something I still need to learn now. People might not agree with me here, but finding ways to get points when you don't play well is a good thing in short term. Long term, it's not great kind of thing because we need to be more consistent. But short term, it is. I think the thing is, we could have quite easily lost that game on Saturday if Preston were a little bit more clinical. That champ by Dan Potts goes in. I think the game put to bed. I don't see us getting back in it. The penalty that Windass took, it was a definite penalty, the actual tackle on Paul, but the actual penalty take itself, it was predictable. And I think there's a lot of that you got to look at, and I still don't think people. I think you sometimes need to be wary of that. Windass has stepped up a lot of times. Oh, I agree, Steve. You can't please everyone, and I get that. I get that a lot. Thank you, mate. I much appreciate it. I also think it's time of year. It's getting darker. I get annoyed. I can't do much. I've also... This week is a busy week for me. I've got 2 kid birthdays. I've got my youngest, who is 1. Where's that year gone? And on Saturday, my eldest. So it's a big week of birthdays. So probably a bit of feeling old as well. But I appreciate my audience that I've got, and I appreciate that people know what time and effort I put into these. So it doesn't go unnoticed. Ian and Daniel, channel more professional than Wednesday at the moment. Cheers, Tom. Please, everyone, mate, don't try. Just carry on doing what you're doing. We all appreciate it. Cheers, Steve. Much appreciate it. Playing Upbo gets a goal soon. I need confidence. I think we're missing someone who can pick him out. And the thing is, I was hoping someone like a Louis Barry would be someone we would go for. But here's the thing. There's a lot of talk that he's going to Borough, or they're the front runners. They do have an excellent relationship, Borough and Aston Villa. So we'll have to be careful with that one. There is a good relationship. There's definitely a gap in the squad that need plugging. 2 defenders, 1 midfielder, 1 striker, maybe 2, including Whitway still available. Whitway close to coming, but I would say a Whitway could be one of those ones in the January window. You might look at trying moving out. Because we've only got 3 loan spots, and I don't think we're bringing anyone permanent in. I think whoever comes in is going to be a loan. Ian Dannington, how you doing, mate? So I think it's 2 defenders. I think it's 2 defenders and a striker. I love a creative midfielder, but I think I'm pushing the boat there a little bit. I've been looking at our starting 11 recently and thinking that's decent. In recent years, I'm sure we've been looking at that and rolling their eyes a bit. I think the thing is that I'm a gutted that someone like a Kabachi got injured. Because I thought he was actually looking like one of the players who could be quite good at getting the ball in the box. Now, I looked on Blue Sky and B-Rate, one of the people on there, he put up something with Masaba. And it was a really good picture of Masaba. He looks up twice before he played that ball in for Smith. And I want to see more of that. I really want to see Masaba looking up more and running. I want less tricks, more running at a player, and then checking where his surroundings are. I think if he can do that, I think it'll help a lot. That's what I would say we do. We really play Upbo game. I think we play better at either poacher. You gotta look at what Upbo did last season. Upbo goals last season all came from poaching. They were all poacher goal. Squad is great and plenty of youth. Yep. How are you, Dannington? You getting any better, by the way? If Jack comes in, give Jack a bit of a... How you feel better? He thinks he got COVID. So, yeah, he's not good. I'm really hoping for a centre-back, creative midfielder, and a centre-forward. And Kavachi generally, stats-wise, is one of our most creative players. Mustava most of the season for us. That's good, Dannington. Good to hear, mate. And I think for me, one of the things is, it makes you wonder what we missed out on in the summer. If there were 1 or 2 players we missed out on, or we just didn't get in, who Danny wanted. What I like about Danny is he's honest. He'll say it wasn't good enough. And I think it's one of those things where I'm not on one of these ones where managers go, oh, it was a good performance when it wasn't. and I like it. Masaba is still young. You're right. They do peak at 22, 27. And I think that's something we've got to remember with it, with Gassama and Masaba. They are young boys who are in there. Gassama probably gets a little bit more of a path than Masaba. But I think there's signs that you could see that bit were working, especially when we got that goal. Once we got the goal, we looked a little bit better. We looked hungrier. One of the big things, though, for me, we got to learn how to play without Bannon. We got to learn how to play without Bannon. And the interesting thing, one of the comments Danny made, he wanted to change it up in the first 15 minutes. He knew in the first 15 minutes that team wasn't good enough. And that says a lot. Granted, Danny will get a lot of the slack for it because he's the one that picked the team. Right? And I get that. But if you're picked the team, you're going on that pick to do what the manager wants. And if you're not doing what that manager wants, you have to take the responsibility. I am so shocked he didn't pull Johnson in that game. Like, when, especially when he had that bit of a situation with him. There was a bit in the game, I think we all saw it, where Johnson didn't run for the ball. And he was asking why. He was asking why he's not running for the ball. And Johnson was slightly feeling the back of his hamstring. But a little bit more you would have got there. And you could see the frustration. You could really, really see that frustration with it. And that's the thing. Rashford will be available alone in Jan. Oh, the Man United thing, just insane. It's like, why would anyone take the Man United job these days? I have no idea. Let's have a look. If I can look up and he can find up, I think we could have the first to unlock. Yeah, I agree. The thing is, the Ubbo Masaba link up is something we raved about last season because they played together beforehand. He was the one that wanted him to come in. 27 people watching, 13 likes. Get those likes up, people. I'm really hoping so. Gassama seems to be starting to whip it too. Gassama's starting to look a lot better. He's starting to look real better. A lot better. Elephant in the room, we missed Bannon. We did. Agree, fairly new to the channel still, but said for about 5 years. I don't know how over-reliant. I think that game showed us how over-reliant we are on Bannon. And I think that's something we have to do. I think Windass needs a few games. Seem to be blowing more cold than hot at the moment. Takes a while to get into game, but sometimes he can be the person who can step up. That's true, but saying it, but we're not good enough for doing something about it, different things. I don't think Danny said why we weren't good enough, or then again, why would he? Basically, he did say why we weren't good enough, Dannington. He basically said we didn't do the basics right, and that's something we've all said. This squad have got the ability to not do the basics right, and that's something we have to do better. You get the basics right and you sort it. I think Chalobah can be a Bannon style presence if he can stay fit as a senior member. I thought Chalobah looked good. I was calling out for Pato like a madman, didn't realise he was injured that game. What it was, it's a shame. And it's another injury for Pato near the Christmas period again. Because he had one last year and that was the head injury that he got versus Coventry. And then it went on to being a muscle injury. And that's the whole thing. It's good to see Bannon purring again now. It is. But we do need to find... I'd like to see a situation where we see Ingleson a little bit more. I'll be interested to see if... we got... If Shea Charles plays tomorrow. Because I think tomorrow could be the kind of game you give him a bit of a break. Midfield, I thought we were missing something in January when we set it up. I thought it just felt like someone was missing. And I don't know what it was, but it just felt like someone was missing. And a creative midfielder is something that we needed, but not in a sense a Pervader because of his injury record. We needed someone who was probably a little bit younger. Yeah, Jake, you're right. Man U's setup is it's horrible. Yeah, Pato would like to go. I think there's a bit of it as well with Pato. Pato's a new dad. He'll be enjoying it. I agree about Chalobah being decent. Bannon cover, especially when with Shea and Kabachi. Yeah, I agree. if we actually have a look at the Sheffield Wednesday squad, because I'm going to bring it up now, because I think it'll be interesting. You say he perfectly gets injured to go fishing. Going fishing in... I was about to say going fishing in this weather, but he's a Gothman, isn't he? I play Charles, Bannon, Chalobah tomorrow. Chalobah all depends if he's 100% to start 90. That's the thing. It seems like he's not still ready to play 90 minutes. So, if you take Shea Charles out, take Sean Fuser out, because he's 13, but he's not. Chalobah, Ingleson, Windass, Johnson, Lowe, Bannon is our midfield. With Charles and Fuser if you want to use them. Up top, we've got Smith, Ubbo, Patterson, McNeil, Kabachi, Masaba, and Gassama are wingers. And your defence, you know what? Where looks the thing is, we need to have probably Michael Owickway and probably Dominic Iorfa are the two I'd change at the back. I like Valerie as a going forward option. He frustrates me when he defends. He's a very attacking fullback, but his defending for that first goal was just naff. They all switched off from it, but Valerie seems to have an issue with getting into position. And that's something I would really like to see a little bit. I wonder if the younger players learn from the old timers like Bannon, or just do what they told by coaching staff. If I were Bannon, I'd be saying, look, you do it like this. I think there's a mixture of it all. The thing is, you don't want your captain going too much into doing that kind of stuff, because then you might have the thing where I'm the coach and you're not. But there is a bit where you can take over. He can do 45 odd minutes and then Ingleson take over in second half. It's a good shout. Not a bad shout, that. Also, Paul needs to start. I think Paul is drastically not getting enough minutes for me. I'd rather play Valentine than Valerie at the minute, because Valerie goes and runs at people. He wins you the penalties. He's running at players, and players don't like trying to tackle him. Like, generally, players do not like trying to tackle Valentine, because he will win a free kick. And the one thing that he got that we haven't had in such a long time is someone who will go and run at players and win free kicks. And I think it's something that we massively don't utilize at all. Like, we don't utilize the idea of us using... we don't utilize that of winning free kicks. And I think we really should. I want to see us run at more players and try and make them make the foul, and then see what we can do by set pieces. The other thing that is one of those situations that I'm not a big fan of, I don't like the whole free kick takers. The free kick takers are just not great. Set piece wise, we are so bad. Like, to just get a ball in. I think it's something where I would like to see a set piece specialist come in as a player. Someone who you know can whip a ball in and beat the first man. A minute, just texting our last. It's something I really, really want to see a bit more. I think Bannon is a bit unique. There's not many... Yeah, and the fact that he's been able to... The thing is, we're going to have the situation that Liverpool had a little bit when they lost Gerrard. That first little bit of going, oh, what do we do? Where we're going to have to find the net person who can control it. And that's something we've been needing to do for ages. Valentine and Pato, when fit, will be the first team with Bannon and Windass. Good shout. Valerie was a big part of Lazy Lackluster's issue. Yep. He just... There are so many times when Valerie plays, I just want him to just stay in position. If you have him as an attacking player, he's fantastic. He really is. He's what you want. You put him in the defensive line, I don't think he's that great. Defensively, I just don't think he's that great. We're rubbish at corners. I know that. We're rubbish at corners. We're rubbish at set pieces. Set pieces and corners, we don't beat the set piece. I think when it comes to free kicks, Windass tried to hit it all the time. At the Bannon, the only one who seemed to be floating them into the box at times have been Shea Charles. to try and make it work. And that's something that we need to do more of. And hopefully the set piece coaches help. You can't teach what Bannon can do. You either got it or you don't. Kabachi was doing okay with corner before he got injured. He did look good. We had our penalties. Now the next thing to tick off is direct free kick. That's been an issue for a while. I agree, Barry. Hi, Jay. Smith was the only one to press the ball. Yep, and like always, Smith is the only one to press the ball. The amount of time we're meant to be a pressing team, and it's only Smith pressing. Ugbo will do it if he got someone at the side of him. But if he hasn't got someone playing as a 2, he really struggles to press. Now, I'd like to see Ugbo get another chance tomorrow, but there's also part of me niggling at the back of my head going, why don't you just change it up and give it McNeil and Smith to see what happens? But I'm not the manager. I don't see things in the week to week like Danny does. And we don't. We just see what's going on. There might be a reason why we're not seeing it. But I'd like to see him get given a chance of some sort. But at the same time, Ugbo, I don't think Ugbo needs the rest. I think Ugbo needs to be played to his strength, which he's not doing. If you are playing him up top on his own to be the one to hold it up, that's not his game. His game is not a hold-up player. He's not a hold-up player at all. Thing is, we know we can't beat the first man. Why isn't anyone running near? True, Bob. Very true. Also, Valentine gets one of their left-sided player booked. Yep. I am right in thinking we could go more 30-yard worldies than we have corners. That's probably about right. Yeah, that's probably about right, Ashley. With how tall our side is, we should be dominating corners. And we get a lot of set pieces from corners. And the amount of time that they're either floated straight into the keeper's hands or they're floated out of the out to the other side, or we try and get on the end of something and it's just not crucial enough. Smudge is underrated, bro. The old school English striker, also fighting spirit. Price, unless these type of players seem to overlook these days. Yeah, I agree. I think he's the kind of player you like. He's the old school, hold it up, will hold it up and try and keep the ball a little bit more. And when he gets a chance, he's very much there. This other conversation is very reminiscent of a certain Mr. Rose. A little bit, but not as much. I think the only bit where it equal to it is how much we paid. It because we paid money. And the thing is, Ugbo in the summer we all wanted. Ugbo in the summer we all wanted to a point. Most of at 37, Vardy still ripping up Premier League because we could have had Vardy, but we could have had him. But Chansiri said no in 2017. There was a deal in play for Vardy on our end, and Chansiri said no to it because he didn't want him because he said he was too old. But I don't see the point why we should kind of thing. I don't see the point of us bringing up stuff what we can't control in that. And yeah, you play to a player's strength. Ugbo's strength is the poacher. You put balls into that box for him, how he did most of last season. He scores. And you don't put him in as high crosses. You put him in as a low cross and try and not have a team with a low block. I'm not too bad, mate. I'm a little bit tired tonight. I'm just feeling a little bit close to end of year, get things sorted. I've got a very busy week. I've got 2 kids' birthdays to get done. And then once they're done, I'll be happy. It's the fact, yet again, we're not playing to striker strength. Yeah, again. Once again, it's another one of those things where we're not playing to a striker strength. Or we're not playing to a certain player's strength. And we are the amount of time that we are our own worst enemies by not playing to certain players' strength or trying to fit them into a system that they don't fit is mind-bogglingly annoying. That it just mind-bogglingly annoying that it doesn't happen. On the back of what the goal said, maybe we could get an aggressive fighter player in January. Not a bad idea. A younger Pato would be a good one. When I was playing football, we were taught to put corners in around the penalty spot when playing, running into it. The way we put pressure on the keeper, it come for it or not. Yeah, the thing is, when we put them in, we put it on that, but a lot of the time the keeper just gets it and no one puts any pressure on. That's my point, Jake. Play till both. I get what you mean, Paul. I'm going to have a long walk down to Matt tomorrow night. Me, I'll be okay. I think the thing is, you gotta... You're right. By the way, you're okay, GFWFC. It seems like you're a bit down. Just want to make sure you're okay. I think the thing is, we can play to certain player strength and fantastic. The impact players that we have sometimes do work off the bench. The 9 times out of 10, they work. I think what I saw a lot of in the Preston game that made me really happy, we started to see that Jamal Lowe from Swansea, that battling ability to get a hold of the ball and run at people, something we haven't seen him do since more than likely the Derby game just gone, and the first game of the season. He did really well at that when he came on. And maybe the shout you put Smith and Jamal Lowe on up top, and you have that in your front two. I like to see us play with that front two. I think we play better with a front two. We have to have this thing where Danny doesn't have to keep changing it 3 to 4 different times. Like, I don't know if the lads have had the Christmas party yet, because it's getting that time of year. Well, it will. But Danny will have had them in Sunday morning, ready to go, ready to look at video footage, ready to figure out why it's not worked and what went wrong, because we're not aggressive enough. But this also goes back to our inconsistency. Like, you look at when we played Norwich, we were coming off that massive defeat and we played much better. We attacked them. We looked better. We looked like a team that could actually get something, and we did. Now, the only issue is we have to always be the side that come from behind. And the ability to come from behind is fantastic. It means you're able to have that resilience. You're able to put up a fight back. It's fantastic. But I don't want to keep coming from behind. I want us to be the pace setters. I want us to have 2, maybe 3 by like the 60th minute and be the ones ahead of it, ready to go. I want us to take these chances. We make a lot of chances, right? Our issue, once again, for this season is we don't bury them. We don't bury them. And we're missing. It's the year-old question. Everybody wants a 20-goal a season striker, right? And some people get the finished article, some people don't. We're very good at getting the don't out of it. When I played, we always had Ian and Adam Hayden had our tallest player around the edge of the box and aimed the corner toward them to nod forward for a striker to run on to. There's a lot of what we all used to do with kids, and when we used to be playing in, maybe when some of you did Sunday League. Like, I'm a big component and the goalkeeper catching the ball. I got taught as a kid to do the W side when you hold the ball. W, catch it. I'm not a big fan of keeper punching it. I'm not a big fan of parrying it. I don't like it. I think it causes more problems. And I think there've been times where we have parried the ball with Bedo. He made some fantastic saves and kept us in game, don't get me wrong. But the time where he parried it, and I'm like, why don't we save it? And the whole thing of the parry, so you can get on the attack quicker. But sometimes we need to slow it down. I'm not too bad, mate. That stops keep coming out for it, true. For me, Masaba must play instead of Gassama. Reason she left? Because I think it's the other way around. I don't think... for me, it's the other way around. I think Gassama's probably ahead of Masaba at the minute. Because I find Masaba very inconsistent in terms of him putting in crosses. Yes, he did well to get the cross in eventually. But for me, I get annoyed with how little he looks up. Unfortunately, a settled 11 is way to go because of our fixture. We can't do that. Yeah, I'd like to see Ingleson play a little bit more. I love to see Ingleson get a starting run because I think he will be really good. But with Bannon and Shea there, he's not going to. When they have a habit of buying good players and turning them to bad players overnight, we are the masters at that. That is something we are very good at doing. If some fan can see these errors in our game, why can't our manager and his training team? The difference is we're not in there every week, Barry. It's not a case of us seeing the errors. There's a certain way Danny wants to play. And if Danny wants to play that way, he's going to stick to that philosophy and play for it. And he's obviously brought in players who we think that can do it. Now, the thing is, it's all well and saying good to go. Well, why, if we can see it, why can't the manager and the training team? They probably can. There's so much of what I've heard where Danny told the team to play a certain way and they've just not done it. They've not done it. Or there's so many times where you can see Danny on the sideline screaming at players to get forward and they're sitting back and passing it backwards. He doesn't want that style of play. He doesn't want it to go backwards. The amount of time you see Danny and his coaching staff going apoplectic because they're not doing what they're told to do. And the thing is, I think Saturday was the first time where we saw it, where we did try and knock it further forward, but we just didn't have the players to do so. And the thing is, I don't want us to get into that situation going, oh, if we can see it, why can't the manager? Because it sets a really bad precedent. We shouldn't be questioning to a point what Danny's doing with us being in 9th place, considering where we were last season. Gas start for me, Masaba, impact player. Fair enough. I'm 5'6", but was the best header of the ball in my team I used to play in. Second, scored more goals with his head. 2 6-foot players. Fair enough. If we had a better football manager, if we were better football managers than what we had, we will be football managers. Sometimes we have to remember that. True athlete. Good evening. Hope you well. Surprised. Suppose the only best thing for Saturday was we climbed tonight. I agree. Kasama can't control the ball, mate, but Masaba isn't much better. They're both very wasteful. But that's the thing. The argument for either one or the other, is that because they're both very wasteful. I think Kasama has spells where he can keep the ball. The big thing for me, you're playing both of them as a front three. They cutting, for me, the biggest problem with both Masaba and Gassama, it's not the fact that he can't control the ball. Gassama can control the ball. He's shown it. It's the fact they both want to cut inside and shoot instead of feed a striker. Not one of them wants to play as a traditional winger where they whip the ball in. Their immediate thoughts are immediately go for shot or immediately cut inside, run at a player, make base, try and have a worldie from the 25-yard line, or trying to cut inside on the 30 yards. They are not naturally gifted at actually putting balls into the box. That's the issue with them for me. I think it's more they're both not naturally wingers. And I think with the system Danny playing, you need natural wingers who put balls into the box. Why Valentine and Johnson have actually been a blessing in disguise. We're still probably not playing the way he wants. He probably like to play a 4-2-2. Gang and press a high line with 10 outfield on the ball. That's a very good point, mate. Performance improves, up, carry on ticking along. Maybe anything possible. We'll see, mate. We will see what happens because at the minute, we're where I said I wanted us to be mid-table. And if we can keep that up, fantastic. We'll see. I think old habit creeping into players. They sit back also. Start low tomorrow. Look bright coming off the last two. I agree. In a few months and hardly any business since Danny Rise, he got from rock bottom to halfway through the season. I agree. Beat for yourself, the money class. I agree. We could do with a backup Bannon in the new year as he tends to struggle with injury when it's a bit warmer. I agree, George. He's even said that himself. Is Kabachi long term? He's meant to be back by the end of December, Caboodle Fish. And eating Andy, how you doing, mate? He's meant to be back end of December, hopefully. So we'll see. Thing is, we all have ideas on how we want the team to play, but the opponent also has ideas how they can stop the team. I think that's sometimes one of the things for me as well. I think some of the teams that have figured us out a little bit, like you say, Steve. So good point.
Give us McNeil.
There you go, McNeil. Back for Stoke, isn't it? That's about. I think that's the bit where he said. I think he said it should be Stoke game. So a week's time, he should be back. Hopefully, because I thought Kabachi was starting to show some real promise and looking like one of the gooder buys at the window that we got in. It sounds weird when I say buy, so I'm not used to buying players. And I know we can't dwell on past results, but I say we dropped 10 points this season. Yeah, you're thinking, you're looking at QPR, you're looking at Luton, you're looking a little bit at the Cardiff game. We've dropped points in the situation where we should have really taken 3. And we could be higher, or maybe should be higher, but it's interesting to see. Danny Pope match into was interesting when he says some players want to aim high. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does it mean certain players believe when they can achieve something? Yeah. Basically, there's a lot of players who want to be higher than where we are. And you know who those players are. It's your Windasses, it's your Bannons, it's probably your Palmers. It's it wouldn't surprise me if one of them's like a Low or someone. There's certain players who want us to be higher than where we are. Would like to see Joey on the bench for central mid cover. Joey Pelopessi, you mean, Adam? That was drop points while playing well in the first half of the season. Gives me confidence that we'll have a better second half. Yeah, I agree. We do seem to be a better second half of the season team. We did it last season, and the thing is, we're all actually complaining and having a bit of a moan, but again, some perspective on it, like Steve and like DJ said, and like Glenn said when we came in, we're 9th. We're 9th. It's a good debate tonight. Yeah, it is. I'm enjoying it, mate. I'm enjoying it. We're 9th at the minute. And that's the thing for me. We're 9th, and it doesn't feel like we've even hit a point where we're consistent. If we were consistent, we'd probably be higher up. And with how tight the table is, if we can just keep picking up 3 to a point here and there, kind of thing, like we are doing, that should be good to keep us going on a good record to get that 50-point mark really quickly. And that's something you have to look at of it all, because I feel like we're going in the right place. Pelopessi led, but probably meant Poofy. Yeah, I think he does mean Poofy. I like Pelopessi. A lot of people didn't. We would have bit your hand off this. Oh, 100%. This time last season, we would have 100% bit their hand off to be here. So I think it is. 9th, it probably just shows how crap the championship this season is compared to last season. And everything is there for the taking. I agree. There's probably a little bit of that is going how open it is. But you actually look at all the leagues across the 72. They're all very open this season. Like, literally, they're all really close. It's kind of really exciting. But at the same time, you make your own chances. You make your own luck. One of the other things we should be celebrating, we got another penalty. We didn't get one for 2 seasons, pretty much nearly. And what was it? 73 games, we didn't get a penalty. And we get 2 in the space of about 2 weeks. It's like buses. Budget-wise, I don't know how much regarding our wage and structure are we punchable our weight. Glenn, there's no point talking about budgets, really, because we don't know. We don't really get a idea what our budget is. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of glad. But we know we're probably lower end budget-wise, let's put it that way. Because for us, signing Ugbo for money was seen as a big thing, where most people have seen that and gone, oh, well, that's just a normal thing. For us to actually sign players for money, it was a bit weird. So if what they want, we probably don't know. We'll probably find out in about 2 seasons' time when we have the account for that season. Preston have already got their accounts in, by the way, which is interesting. Yeah, I did forget to put your second name. No worries, mate. We had a good fixture list, potentially get a good run together and force our way up. I agree. When we got the pen, I went looping and offered everyone around me a fizzy fish. I must have looked mental. But I think the thing we've got to remember is when we're in ninth, the games that are coming up are a mixture of games in and around us and teams where you're thinking will get something. Remember something with Preston as well. They are the draw specialists this year. They are the team where if they'll get a goal, but they won't get anything past that. And that's something to remember. And we've got to remember that because I think end of December, we play them again at their place. So I think it's something to look at. If we're where we are come January, I hope we can push on. Hopefully, it should help us. It should help us in the transfer market, especially on loan players. Get some players in. And I wonder if there's going to be some players that we try to go for in the summer that we might be able to get now and go, look, we just need them for that little extra push. So you never know. The MLS have finished, so I think we already are looking there, Barry. I generally think we are already looking at the MLS to see what's there. I think it's a market we've said before, the club want to tap as much as possible. Jim Sheckhan said there's only a handful of teams who are good like of Weeds, Sunderland, Blunts. Played them all, lost them all. To be fair. Played them all, lost them all. So it is what it is. I've always thought we'd finish about 15th, 16th. I'd be happy with that. Never thought we'd get as high as 9th, so happy I will. But not with some... Thing is, we've had games this season where it's been a fantastic performance and we got absolutely bloody nothing. Because we just not managed to finish our dinner. And there've been games this season where we've been absolute tosh and we come away with all 3 points. It's how it is. I think I've always said mid-table, lower mid-table, maybe push a higher mid-table. It's good. It's a good season compared where we were last season. Generally, I think that is something to really look at. If we can get mid-table, that whole thing where it gives you a building block. So you get mid-table, you then push on to the next thing. You push on to the next bit where you're going to be. And then the next thing. The one thing that we cannot control, 34 people watching by way and 23 likes. Get those likes up, people. I much appreciate it. The one thing we can't control is if somebody came in for Danny. If someone came in for Danny, that's the one thing we can't control. Danny said we look better prospect for players in January on loan, so that's promising. Since last season, we brought in Beadle, Paveda, Ubbo, and Pedersen. We don't talk about Pedersen, true. Like you said, you can imagine if those results have gone our favour. Quite scary. Yeah, it is what it is. Absolutely, pretty much on all your match reviews, it just says mid-table is a good season. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think you got to see a progression. And I think this is something a lot of the fans are not looking at, that we're 9th. Pedersen was decent until he got injured. True. And I think if you can come away from being a mid-table team and not playing well, and I want to classify that, and not playing well, then it's decent. Not being in the depths of despair is improvement. We all scream and shout about drop point, but it's such an improvement. I agree. Some of the fans get carried away now. But that's why we like football. That's why we like football. That's why I like doing the debate. I say debate because the debrief is a bit of a debate as well. But that's why I like doing the debrief. That's why I like doing the roundup and live shows. Because I feel like you get a lot more of the interesting bit. We all have our opinion. We all have our thoughts. And everyone's got their own backside with a hole in it. And that's the nicest way I can put it. 9th is better than 24th. We can all agree. 100%. And I think credit to what Danny's doing. It just makes you wonder what Danny could have done maybe with a little bit more cash, maybe with an owner that backed him a little bit more. But if you also look at it, it's not like he didn't get backed. He got backed. We just would have liked to see him get backed a bit more. Like any manager would have liked another player or two, or an owner to give a extra million or three to go get another player. That's normal. That is normal in football. That is normal for every club. And the thing is, one of the big things I want to see us do is get consistent. So where do we go from here with the TW in mind? TW? Remind me what TW is, Tannington, because I'm a little bit not awake. Is Pedersen? No, Pedersen's... I think Pedersen got let go at Swansea, or he could still be at Swansea. I can't remember. You know what happens, though, at the end of the season? We missed playoff by like 5 points and people say it's failure. Yep. Transfer window. Thank you. So where do we go from here with the transfer window in mind? I think with the transfer window in mind, I think you've got to look at getting players who can get us impact. A little bit of impact up top and a creativity, because I think that we're lacking there. But I think we need to get a bit more solid at the back. If we can get a little bit more solid at the back and not be the team that keeps always conceding first, I think it'll help. Backed in with his coaching staff as well. People seem to forget that. I agree. Don't know. Danny spent a big chunk on Valerie. Still wait and see what I saw, to be fair. Valerie, one of those ones where he's a great attacking player, but I don't think he's much of a defender. And I also think it's a case of he worked with him before at Southampton. And I think he just wanted someone who he worked with before to be there. Evening, Brazil. Try again. Evening, Brazil B. How you doing? Safe argument sake, we get top 6 and losing players unexpected. The next season target would challenge again and be contender. Yeah, it would be. You would see that as being the next thing you would do. You would put it as the next thing. I agree. Hi, pal. We are where we are. I'm happy. We're not a million miles off the pace. We just need to consistent and make sure we beat teams like Preston and Swansea at home, where I think we drop points. I agree, Harley Quinn. How are you doing, by the way? I hope you're well. I agree. No, I agree. Our biggest thing right now is consistency and starting games on the front foot. Start games on the front foot and don't become that team that has to concede before they get going. If we can get rid of that part of our game, we'd be laughing right now. We'd be really laughing. And I'd like us to be defensively stronger because I feel like there's lots of mistakes at the back. I think if you're going to look at any, if you had a couple of places where you would look for in the transfer window, I'd say you make defense strong and you get a striker in. And that's what you do. Kabachi coming back is good. Chalobah getting up to speed is like a new player, so focus on the centre-back position in January. I agree. Would still look at Ajaya coming on trial basis, maybe play him playing week to week. Yeah, not a bad shout. Is he still not found a club yet? Sometimes it doesn't work out and can be a number of reasons. Statistically, more signings fail than succeed at any club. True. Do you think January transfer window should be more of a case of patching the holes rather than improving and looking to... I think it will be more patching the holes. January always seems to be a patching the hole job, especially if you're getting loans. If you're loaning players in, you're patching holes. It's very rare the January window you will go and buy players. Like, just as an offset. It's very rare you go buy players because you've got, January, February, March, April, May, June. You've got 6 months to bed them in. You would probably normally just loan them, and then if they do well, do what we kind of did with Ugbo. I think it's more patching the holes, and our ones is, I think for me, our holes are up front, not scoring enough, and defence. We're consistently inconsistent. Power potentially is there for sure. Yeah, we are. It's that stupid thing. Consistently inconsistent is the be on all ender. If it comes off anything possible, best thing is to do, take each game as it comes, see where we come, maybe put on the plus side, look up for changing players. I think that higher up in the league and what Danny did last season will give us money in the bank to get players in. If we pulled off, say, a Luton, and we had just the season in the Premiership, and you pocketed all that money that for going up, you use that money to build a brand new training facility, and then you go back down and you get your parachute payments, I'd be happy with that for a bit. How do you teach consistency and mind games? A lot of it goes down to mental. That's the mental side of the game, and that players have to learn how to do that. Players, and a little bit of Sasha Lens being the sports psychology, getting them into that mindset of being able to be like that. That a lot of being consistent is doing the basics right. Like generally, like Danny said, get the basics right. If you build a I don't want to say platform, what's the word I'm looking for? A stable foundation of getting your basics right every game, that's where you get it. That's where you get it. You get it from being able to have the basics right. And that's something we're not doing. The amount of time we see a ball go from one player to another player and it's not to a Wednesday player, it's frustrating. 41 people watching, 24 likes. Get those likes up, people. I much appreciate it. I'm not too sure what more consistent Wednesday or Worko's PC actually working. His PC works now. I will let you know that one. Replace the inconsistent players like Valerie and Windass with more consistent performers. Cost money though, mate. They're both on big contracts. You would have to find people to buy them. They're both on 2 and 3 year contracts. I know you're not Windass' biggest fan, and I can understand why we kept Windass, but there's also, you could also put someone like Johnson on that list. He wasn't consistent at the weekend. And there've been a couple of games where he's not been consistent. There've been a couple of games where you've seen balls go to players and they've not been right. You've also got the other thing. Bannon's not been the most consistent this year. Bannon's been one of those players who've let ball go, so it's interesting. You never know. Do you, if Danny keeps the moment going with the right backing by Chancey and January, who knows? True. That's good news. Happy for him. Mate, I'd be more worried about Masaba and Gassama than Valerie and Windass. I think, for me, Gassama and Masaba, again, it goes back to the lack of getting crosses in the box. If you're playing them on the outside of a free, they're the ones who are, in one sense, meant to be getting the crosses in the box. But you're playing as a free, you can understand why they cut inside. Michael, Chalobah looks really good. Chalobah, I really think we might have pulled off something if he can stay fit. If he can stay fit, he could be quite crucial just to sit in front of that defence. A week weighs around 15 grand a week, by the way. Massive amount of wages. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me someone like a Whitway with one of the players who leave in the January window. Only consistent player this year for me has been Smith. Even Bernard have been hot and cold. Chalobah looks really relaxed on the ball and actually looked to get the ball like Baz. I think he's going to become an important player. Very good. I agree. Johnson, for me, had been one of our best players. He had been one of our best players, but there's so many times he does a pass where player's not on his wavelength, and that's something for me. I'd say only Smith have been our most consistent other than Beadle. Masaba and Gassama are the same player, aren't they? They're very similar with how they play. Yeah, they're very, very similar, which is kind of annoying. Would love to see them using the weaker foot more. Lots of opportunities when they are too light on the back peg. True, very true. Yeah, but Masaba and Gassama got no end product. They get into some amazing positions and do nothing with it. That you Stoke, Masaba, Gassama versus Coventry this season, they do have ability to do it. I think Gassama had it a couple of times last season and scored some crucial goals. They have it, but they don't, if that makes sense. I do wonder if Danny told them to cut inside so the win back overlap and give it away. It could be that, Caboodle Fish. It could be that. But the thing is, they cut inside too much for me and they don't get the ball into the box. And I personally would like them to be more less cutting inside and more trying to get balls into the box. And if they are going to have win backs overlapping, use them. Look up. Masaba and Gassama sometimes seem to be trying too hard. The defensive playing sensibly. I agree. Chalobah played for England, I think, against Brazil. Even Lord Southgate knew there was a player there. True. I'm not going to lie. I don't think Mick could keep his level going, but he took his chances now and he's in starting 11. Masaba forced twice as many as anyone. So he had got the assist, but it's not consistent. Not consistent. I get what you're saying. That's very important. But he's not a consistent player. I like to see the consistency. Masaba been the most mispronounced player for years. Mufasa, Masala, yeah, he has. Ralph Wallet was better at cutting inside, going some right crackers, I agree. There's a reason Gassama and Masaba are playing for us. They got talent but are inconsistent. But if they were consistent, they'd be up a championship team. Got a good point there. Masaba could have set one up and cut back to the bot out of play, and then 2 minutes later cuts it back to me. Yeah, that's the thing. That's what you want to see him do more often. If we can get Masaba and Gassama looking for a bow in the box, we might get somewhere. True. But it's double anyone else, so he's not consistent. Seems a bit harsh. Everyone else is way worse. Yeah, but how do I say it? He's consistent with it, but he should have more than 4 assists. With some of the positions he gets into, he should have more than 4 assists. Because he loses the ball too much. That's what I mean by inconsistent. I don't mean he's inconsistent in the sense that he's not got the assist. He's inconsistent with making the right decision. If anything, it's the decision making that lets him down. If he got 4 assists, he should have way more. Because his decision making is well off at times. He goes for one too many step overs. He goes for the trick too much when he's already beat a man to try and cut inside and get onto his other stick. And that's the bit that annoys me with Masaba. It's the taking an extra touch where he could have probably get the ball in the box. That's what I mean by it. I think he's inconsistent, more frustration because you can see the potential. Yeah, it's not the lack of consistency when it comes to his ability to get the assist. It's more his decision making. The time where you want it in the box. I agree with consistency. You nailed it about his decision making. I think the same with Gasol. Yeah, I think they both got decision making that needs to be addressed. Give me a minute. I think it's more decision making than inconsistent. I used the wrong word. But I think that comes with time as well. He then game was very poor at time. Like people said, the players that were more considered being a higher thing would buy them. True. I think the thing is, we've seen when Gassama and Masaba can put balls into the box and how good they are. We know what they can do. That's the annoying thing. We've seen it. We've seen what they can do. We've seen how they play. And that's the bit that annoys us. Because you know there's a player there that can whip a ball in. And that's the bit I want to try and see us improve. I want to see this decision. I don't want to see sometimes the extra touch they both take lose them the ability when they're going forward. So Gassama, I think it wasn't last game, not Masaba versus Derby. He beat his man, got past him, and then he went to cut inside. And the player telegraphed it because he knew what he was doing. I think having a little bit of a change helps. But on the plus side, let's hope they become more consistent and help us achieve something. I agree. I think it's more decision-making. But I think as a whole, the team has an issue with decision-making as well. I think Bannon's been a bit poor with that this season. I think you've seen it where Johnson tried to get something and somebody hasn't been on the right wavelength. And I think that's where you see the frailties of this squad, where you can tell it's a team that's only really been together since the summer and hasn't had much with it. We've seen what they can do and what they can get the crowd up consistent. It's possibly why it's more frustrating when the bad decisions are true. Shekam said Masaba had a chance versus Blade. He tried to stop it on the line. And he had a better putting the first ball in to something get. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. But again, it come back to that whole kind of thing. That comes with them playing a bit more consistent as a club as well. A team play consistent, you probably make better decisions. But we're also acting like the game versus Preston. I think we're on a 4-game streak at the minute. So it's decent. Can we all say Prev? Yeah. He had that car crash. Looked awful. Well, he's had surgery on his leg. So that's him out. I don't know if I take Masaba over Windass, whose stats are worse. I know both playing out of position. Masaba need to play time. I agree. I do agree. I do think there's a couple of players who fit that list of play time, though. I think Masaba one of them. I think Ingleson would be one I'd like to see, but you're not going to risk Charles out of that because then you're waiting a lone spot. I think the case of trying to find that team. And is there a case of Danny not found his best starting 11 yet? Question mark? Or is it because he's not had the ability to have his best starting 11 due to certain injuries? You can't take decision making, especially in the heat of a match. It is what it used to be called having a football brain, which a lot of decent players don't have. Yeah, I agree. I think we heard a lot about Josh Windad talking about that in the summer with certain players. He said one of the things he said about Adam Reach. Adam Reach had a really good football brain, and I think no one would dispute that. I think he did. I think he's still someone who hasn't got a club, and there's so many players you're seeing who are X20 players who just don't have clubs anymore, and it just makes you go, "Wow, we had them at their peak," and I think we need to find a little bit better. Would you take Reach and his football brain over Masaba? Oh, possibly yes. Possibly yes, because Adam Reach would set up a lot of good chances, and there was that occasional worldie now and again. But I wouldn't take him at his age of Ian now. That's the thing. I would, but I think the ability of having experience, and I think if you got the experience of someone like an Adam Reach was like bias for me. Yeah, I agree. Got something out of my bin. There we go. I'm back. But yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about what we do next. Like, let's just quickly talk about going on to the game tomorrow. I am not doing a watch along. Deck says there'll be a review on my channel. Join me. We'll have another debrief on Wednesday night. Join me for that. Should be good one again. This has been really good fun, by the way. It's been an excellent show tonight. Really liked how the audience participation and I could say no offense, that's the wrong word. Properly cheered me up as well. It made me feel a lot better doing it. I've gone from about 4 to 5 and feeling a bit down about the channel, and I've gone straight back up to being about an 8. So thank you for that tonight, guys. It's been really good. It's been a really good show tonight. But tomorrow night we have got Blackburn Rovers. It's a tough game. Blackburn Rovers is a very, very tough game. They are playing some very good football. They got what I would call a cheat code in a little bit in John Eustace. Really, really good player. Really good player. What am I about? Really, really good manager. Got them playing well. Very similar to how he got Birmingham playing. They're currently in 6th place on 31 points. They have only lost 1 in their last 5 games. We're going into this with 1 loss, 2 draws, 2 wins. It's at home. Our home record is something else that needs to be really improved as well. The home record needs to be improved because at home, we're not as good as we are away, which is weird. Cheers, Tom. Much appreciate it. No doubt I'll be saying, why does it always rain on me due to stupid hole in the roof? Yep, he was, but so Masaba and even Bannon at times. Let's hope Blackburn have a night off. I agree. Win. I think we could see a win like we did versus Norwich, like Glenn said. I think we might see that kind of, oh, they've been told off again. They've been told off again and show what happens. But thank you for watching tonight, guys. It's been really good. I'm going to go chill. Can we have a stream where we look at loans and frees as possible for Jan? Yeah, we'll do that during the Christmas period because there'll be a stream during the Christmas period. So we'll do that. We'll probably do that during one of them. So we'll do that, definitely. I'll set something up where I can see it. It'll be good. But have a good one, guys. Much appreciated. Really enjoyed tonight. And look after yourselves. And let's hope for 3 points tomorrow to kick off another good week. Have a good one, guys. I much appreciate it. See you later.